for any other person again. I guess we just have to start. So welcome everybody. So we can engage the chat section. For those of us that, yeah, you see the chat section there. Please let us engage the chat section and just engage it. So yes, so like I said earlier, we are all welcome to this event. Yes, so as the topic, I'll just give you a brief rundown of everything we are going to be doing today. So first, the topic is how to have a great tech career with and without coding skills. I hope you are hearing me. So first and foremost, we just talk about the event, talk about our speakers that will be joining us. Then we also have our speakers. I will introduce them, and our speakers will talk to us. And as our speakers keep on talking to us, you get what I'm trying to say. Towards the end of the program, we are also going to have a brief talk from the organizers, that's me, and other MLSs that are around. So that's just that. So that's it. So the first, our speakers, we have two speakers. Sorry, I wanted to say Mr. Olumide and Mr. Tumishe. Yes, they are senior men, they are chiefs, they are boss.
See, you get what I'm trying to say. All right. So
they are going to be talking to us concerning topics relating to this. So I just want us to pay close attention and listening to them. Yeah. All right. So Microsoft student community, yes, like we are like basically representatives for Microsoft on the campus. So from time to time, we'll be organizing programs like this to just engage people, to talk to you about Microsoft tools. We'll be talking to you about so many other things, enlightening you about things you will need. And so many other stuff. So in the course of the program, our speakers will be talking to us. We have two speakers. The first person will be talking to us about those things that we need to have a great tech career, and the other speaker will be talking to us about for those that don't want to go into programming. The other speaker will be talking to us about things that we need for those of us that don't want to program. So that's that about that. So please, if your mic is on, please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. So, Mr. Olumide, can you hear me? Please, can you unmute your mic? Okay, it's not.
Hello, yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay. Mr. Tumishe, please, can you unmute your mic? I want to be sure that you are with us.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right, I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. My name is Tolu Lokwe, MLSA for LAUTECH. MLSA is just a fancy word for Microsoft Learn Students Ambassadors. So basically, we are representatives for the Microsoft community on this campus. All right. Yes, so we have other MLSAs, and as the program continues, they will keep talking to us, and we get to know about more events. So very briefly, the first speaker is going to talk to us. So I want us to be prepared, get a jotting note, get a paper, record, just do anything that will make this minute productive for us. So I think you are getting more, numbers getting better and better. All right. So please, let's engage the chat section. Please, let's engage the chat section. Thank you. All right. So in the next few minutes, I would like to introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker is Olumide Ogundare. I hope I got the name correctly. He is a software engineer No, he's like I said, although he doesn't agree with me. He's a senior man, like a really senior man. So he's a senior man. So we are so happy to have him here. So happy. When I reached out to him concerning the events, he's quite busy. Both speakers though, so I felt like it will take a lot of work or time, but they really responded and they've been quite helpful. So I want to appreciate them for that. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for honoring our our event. So Olumide is a software engineer. Please, can we see your face? Olumide, please, can we just see your face very briefly? Okay.
Everyone,
Eh?
can you hear me clearly?
Please, let's just see your face.
Yeah, my camera is on.
Your camera is on. Oh wow, that's him. That's senior man.
Hi. Please, I'm not senior man. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. So let me just give a brief intro about him. Then we'll start his talk. So Olumide is a software engineer. So he's a Microsoft MVP for AI, and he's currently in his final year studying system engineering at the University of Lagos. So that's just a brief intro about him. There are many more, but let's just leave it at that. So Olumide, over to you. You can just talk to us now. Over to you.
All right. Just to be sure, can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear
Open
you.
my net. All right, good. So, hi everyone. I'll try to load my slide deck. Hopefully that should go well. So as Tolu has said, first and foremost, I'm not senior man, please. I'm just a student like everybody here. So I beg, don't mind him. I'm just a student. But I mean, I'm really excited to be here today. Really excited to join you guys on this session. Um, um, the main reason why I really wanted to be part of this session is because I could resonate to getting started in tech career. So, I mean, I have like my own personal experiences when I was just learning how to code, learning how to, start a career in this tech. So, I'm wishing that, I'm hoping that by the end of this session, you guys will be inspired and be ready to start a new career in tech. So I'll just give a little bit of background on my journey. But as you have said, I'm basically a software engineer right now, even though I'm turning to be a cybersecurity analyst. But my major background is software engineering. Um, I've been doing software engineering for a while now. About 2 years plus. About 2 years plus professionally. So I used to be at Total Switch Group. I used to build software engineering products. Used to do stuff around Quickbell and WebPay. But right now I'm currently with Nucleus, which is an health-based company.
Wow.
Basically health insurance company. So we build products for HMOs, for hospitals, for corporates. Basically the health insurance
Olumide, please,
space.
can you speak
So
up?
all right, can you hear me now?
Yeah. That's better. That's better.
Yeah. Probably just go to them. Sorry, I was far away from my mic before. So as I was saying, my background is basically software engineering. You get so, but I do a lot of community stuffs as well. I do AI in my spare time, but I'm not like a proper machine learning person. I just do more of applying AI into softwares. You get. I recently became Microsoft MVP for AI, where we like evangelize about Microsoft's AI tools, basically Azure tools, which I'll be talking about later in this section. So that's basically about me. trying to like keep up with time. So, but I mean, when I started coding, I mean, I used to be a big fan of technology and coding as a whole, but I really didn't have like a proper guide into getting started. So it wasn't that smooth for me when I was starting out, and that's why I really want to ensure I give proper um advice and guide during this session. So I remember starting actively, like active coding in my third year, like just before my internship, just before I joined InterSwitch then. So, but I mean, after from there, that was actually when I actually started coding, started my tech career journey, learned like actually building products, not just for fun, but using those products to solve real life problems. Um, and I mean, since then I've been like actively coding. So I would like to first and foremost for you to have a great tech career in with coding skills. You really need to understand what tech is and like and why tech, right? So basically what's technology? Technology is just you applying scientific knowledge. So there are lots of theories, right? Lots of knowledge you get. You can sit down today and be watching HTML video, CSS or JavaScript video, but I mean you are not actually still doing anything technology until you apply it, until you open your text editor and start building products. You are not doing technology. So you really need to understand what technology is for you to have a good tech career. I remember a lot of my year one, year two, I used to just collect videos and be watching them for fun. Like just watching how people build websites and all those things. And in my mind, I know how to do it. You get, but I mean, there's a whole big gap between you seeing people do stuff something and you actually doing it. So basically, you are not doing technology until you've started building stuffs, until you start applying that knowledge to solve practical problems. So then what is coding? I mean, why do you have to separate technology and coding? So technology is majorly you like applying your knowledge to solve problems, but not all problems require you to code. You get. So, but in the whole technology space, there are so many things that come together to problem solving, and coding is part of it, right? So, coding is majorly using computer language to develop applications, websites, and software. So as you can see from the screen, you see like a bunch of code stuff. So basically, it's we are just communicating to the computer and telling the computer to do something for you. You get, and there are different kinds of coding languages, and with their like major use case. So, but the actual thing that is happening in the background is your whatever programming language you're writing, something compiles it to what your computer understands, which is zeros and ones, like bits and all. So then from there, the computer can understand, okay, this is what you want to do. You get example of coding languages are like JavaScript, Java, C Sharp, Python, and all those stuff. And of course, HTML is not a programming language, basically just a markup language that talks to the browser and not necessarily the computer itself. You get. Okay, so what are the major coding careers? I think I should cover the coding careers before now talking about how to get started. So a lot of times, a lot of people want to get started. I mean, how to do tech, how to start get started in tech, but you don't know where to start. You are just confused. You see a lot of things. You see UI, UX. You see so front end, you see back end, you see all those things. So what does all these things actually really entail? So we have different coding like careers. We have software engineering, and this is majorly building software. When you build any kind of software, it's software engineering. So sometimes you now wonder, so how does this now fit into the front end? Can I call myself a software engineer or a front end engineer? So when you build software, you're a software engineer, but software can be on different platforms. So if the software is on the web platform, like if it's a website, then you're a web developer. And that will actually require you to do a front end engineering or back end engineering. But I'll come to that later. So, but if you are building on mobile, right? Be it on your Android phone or iOS phone, then that's mobile development. Then if it is like on on the desktop, like on your computer, then that's desktop development. You get, but everything still boils down to you building software, and that's what software engineering entails. So we also have machine learning and AI, artificial intelligence. So I mean, I like to like put them together, right? Because machine learning is majorly like it's just like you're teaching a child to learn how to do something, or maybe learn how to crawl or learn how to walk. Then in the end, the child can now apply those walking and crawling skills, right, to do things. Maybe you tell the child go and pick up something, but he has to learn how to walk first before he can now walk to where he has to pick up something. So machine learning is basically you are teaching a computer to be independent, right? You're teaching a computer to learn on its own, to be smart. So then AI is more of how does it now apply all those things you've taught it to like solve real problems. Yet, so we also have security engineering, which a lot of people don't talk about, but it is really key. And I'm probably putting this now because this is what I'm currently doing, right? So security engineering is majorly hacking, cyber security stuff. So imagine like we have hackers today and you say they are illegal, but we actually have companies today that hire people to check for vulnerabilities in their applications, check if it is hackable, check if what can we do to make it not hackable and all those stuffs. So we actually have security engineering. And I mean, I'll talk about that later too. Then there's DevOps engineering. So imagine when you now build a product. Let's say you want to, build a product that will take orders in your hostel. You get, or in school. Let's say that we have like eateries. So you want to build an order app, like someone can order for food and bring it. You get. So the process of building it is the software engineering. But you would think that if tomorrow I want to change something, how does that work? Like, how does that now? How do my users get the change that I've made in real time? You get, so if for example I want to change the name of my other app and I want my users to see the change immediately. So the process of actually developing and moving it to operations, developing and going live, developing and making sure what you've changed or your new deployment or changes reach the users on time is the DevOps engineering. And these days we now try to automate it easily so that people you can easily make changes and I mean users can have access to it. Because today on Netflix, for example, when someone pushes a code to their code base, you see it in real time. Like you can just be watching a movie and an update is there already. So these days we tend to focus a lot more on this area because we now see the need. We see how important it is in the coding space. So software engineering, what are the various roles that we have? We have front end engineering, and this is like the most popular of all the coding careers because I mean and the reason is because it's easy to get started with, and I find it really interesting and fascinating because I've done a lot more in this area than every other career. I find it really fascinating because you can easily see your output when you build it. So front-end engineering is just building user interfaces, and front-end engineering is not necessarily you building on the web. You can be a front-end engineer building websites. You can be a front-end engineer building an Android app. You can be a front-end engineer building a desktop app. The major thing is you are building a user interface, something the user can interact with. So you can see it as let's say like you are in you went for a party like normal O1 banner. Then like you have the whole seat set up. So the whole seat set up there is like the front end is the interface where they can come and give you food, or the interface where you can see what's going on. You can see the couples, maybe it's a marriage or something. Yeah, so front end majorly what user interfaces with. Then we have back end, and I mean for front end, you need to like start with HTML and CSS, and that's majorly to like talk to the browser to say, hey, put this text here, put this paragraph here, put this audio here, put this and that. So it's majorly HTML is more of how you structure your applications. You get majorly the content that you want to put in your application. While CSS is more of like the how do you now design it? Where do you want what color do you want to put? Do you want this guy to be at the top or at the bottom, or it should be scrolling, or it shouldn't be scrolling, and all those stuff. So that's majorly CSS. Then we have JavaScript, which is for interaction. So we have JavaScript, which is for interaction with the user. So we have JavaScript, which is majorly for interaction with the users. Then that's major. Then so today, I mean, for you don't just we now have complex demands where you have to build complex applications, and that's where the whole idea of frameworks come in. I'm sure you'd have heard about React, Angular, Vue, and a whole lot of other JavaScript frameworks. So that's something and the other get so those parameters change really well. So really the market needs to fit into those. That's why you see frameworks coming up here and there. But that's basically what front end engineering is. Then back end engineering is now more of how do we control what you see you get. So as I've given an illustration of like the party where you go to, you get you would have like people that will serve you food and they have to bring it from somewhere. So backend engineering is more of what is the service that controls what you see in the front end. So majorly around how do we store data, how do we access that data, how do we ensure that the right people are seeing the right data. So you imagine you are logged in on Twitter, for example. Okay, maybe through VPN on Twitter, for example, and you see, while you are logged in, you see maybe Barack Obama's information on your own account. That's majorly a breach, right? So the backend allows you to only see things you are meant to see. Get so for backend engineering, they do a lot more like building databases and building the APIs that you can now use to access that we can now like use to get information and show the user. So for backend engineering, a lot of people do use frameworks like Node.js, which is JavaScript, Spring Boot, which is Java, Django, which is Python, and a few other things. .NET, of course, .NET, of course, which is C#. And please, okay, maybe PHP, let's just pick PHP. So yeah, those are the backend fields. But there is one unique career also in this area. Interesting is database management and database administration, which is majorly how do you manage the database, ensure that only the right people can access it. I think I need to work with my time. So machine learning and AI, as I've told you about machine learning and AI already, majorly like you teaching the computer to be smart. So you can be a machine learning engineer or an AI engineer. So what's security engineering? So today we really need to ensure that your applications are secure or your data is secure. So imagine like big companies, they like Microsoft, they are really need to ensure that they are whatever they are not hackable, right? They want to ensure that they have cloud platforms, so people are paying, right? So they are providing insurance of over 99.99% to say your data is secure with us. So they really need to have engineers that would help them to ensure that that data is secure. So it could be through pen testing, it could be through checking for vulnerabilities and threats. So this is one area too that you need to look at. So this area requires coding knowledge. I mean, we do a lot of bash scripting, do use Python for a few things and even Ruby. But it's more of like how do you now like check for vulnerabilities? Yeah, your Linux knowledge will really be crucial in this area as well. I think someone is unmuted. So DevOps engineering. So DevOps engineering is majorly like how do you move from development to operations, and you have like various roles in software DevOps like site reliability engineer and DevOps engineer. So for DevOps engineer, you now need to like really understand the various applications and how you can deploy them. Like how do you move from your local machine to production? Get so those are basically the areas that you need to look at for you to actually start actually building products. You get so, but I think it is important I cover this other aspect, which is the coding interviews. I see a lot of people try to shy away from these areas, but for you to have a great tech career, you really need to have a goal, right? And if your goal is to join top companies today, like I mean Google, Microsoft, um, Facebook, Bloomberg, and all those companies, you really need to understand what they look out for. You get for you to join them, and that is this section. So what are the core areas that they use? So we have what we call data structures and the algorithms, and I'll try to like cover this really quick. So today, like for you to build products, right? Um, you would notice if you've learned programming languages, you notice that they're actually very similar. The concepts are the same. You get it's just the language that differs, right? But basically the concepts are the same. So you find yourself still declaring variables in all programming languages, still looping through things, still creating methods and all those things. So what actually makes you stand out is your problem solving skills. How can you now use what you've learned to solve problems? And that is the idea of data structures and algorithm. So data structures is majorly what kind of data do we have and how are they structured in such a way that they can solve problems? What are the advantages and disadvantages they have? Algorithms is more of like what is the step-by-step process of using those data structures to solve problems. You get this part is what a lot of companies look out for, and you can start preparing for this like learning the various data structures we have, from the basic ones like the array, the arrays, the objects, strings, before you now move into like more complex data structures like graphs and trees. So we also have system design, right? System design is more of object-oriented programming, which I won't talk too much about, but you should go and research about it because this is pretty much a beginner session. I don't want to bore you too much with a lot of details. Then you really need to like work on a project for you to actually succeed in an interview, right? So you need to have done a project from maybe any of the core areas I've said before. Could be like a web project, so you can discuss about. Then there is also behavioral interviews where they will ask you questions around why do you want to join our company? Why do you think you're a valuable asset to us? Have you worked in a team before? How did it go? All those stuff. Basically, to know how you behave around people, how you are going to fit into the role. So these are the core areas you also need to really look out for you to do coding interviews and succeed in them. So getting started, you I mean there are lots of what's it called? There are lots of materials that you can find online, and it can be really overwhelming to see a lot of those materials. I don't even know which one to use to get started, you get. But I would say like first and foremost, know your interests. A lot of these things, I've talked about a lot of the various careers that are available to you. So you should really know your interest. And coding is not even for everybody. You get, so if you're someone that is not so interested in coding, you can still do tech. I think there's a session after this that's talking about other things you can do outside coding. You get, so you really need to understand first that which one really interests you. Out of, is it the AI? Is it machine learning? Is it security engineering? Are you the kind of type that loves to hack stuffs? Is it software engineering? Do you like to build products? All those website and Android apps you see, is it what you like? And you get, so you need to know which one really interests you first. Then you can now follow a path in that area. You get, um so like for example for me, I'm more fascinated about seeing user interfaces. Like mm, I actually spent a lot of my time doing front-end engineering because I found it really interesting. You get, and interestingly, I'm like terrible with colors. Yeah, terrible with like coming up with the design from scratch is very hard for me to do. And interestingly, I still do front-end engineering without that because there's a role dedicated to that called UI UX. Do you get? So you really need to now understand which one really interests you. So once you find that, then you can now follow the path. So for example, if front-end engineer is what interests you, you now know you have to start learning HTML, CSS, then JavaScript. You get? But I would say like the major thing is you don't just keep learning and learning and learning. And that still comes down to my very first point of technology. Like technology is, you are not doing technology if you are not building stuffs. Anybody can just sit down and be watching tutorials. Anybody can just sit down and read articles. But if you're not actually applying those things you've read or those things you've watched, then you're not doing technology at all. You get, so basically you really need to pick up that part that interests you and start. You get, so I mean there are lots of resources online. For example, for front end, you have like front-end masters, even on Udemy, you find a lot of courses, Udacity and all those stuff. So you really need to leverage the online courses that you have. You also need to leverage your student account. So if you go through this GitHub student pack, you will see a lot of access to a lot of free resources that are available to you. So kindly use them well. If you check Microsoft Learn also, you would see a lot of courses that can help you get started in all these parts. I like to use YouTube when I'm stuck. So if you are stuck with something, maybe how to add an image in HTML or something, just go to YouTube and search for it. You'll find an answer. There are tons of YouTube videos that will help you to succeed. So this will actually really help you to like get started and start building stuff. So I'll just say, like, in conclusion for the whole thing, get like what really interests you and start. Then majorly try to like join communities that you can ask questions whenever you are stuck. If you are really interested in joining top companies, then you should look at the interview section of this talk that I talked about. That is really key, and you don't have to leave it to the end. I mean, start as early as possible. There are lots of resources like LeetCode and Akarank where you can go and start doing data structure and algorithm stuff. So start early. So that's basically it. I mean, for you, and that's basically the path you really need to follow for it to succeed. And one I think I'll just leave you with this. So it's not going to be easy, right? It's not going to be. It's not just an easy ride. You really need to be consistent while learning it. You
Very
need
true.
that drive. I mean, whatever drives you, I don't care. Even if it is money that drives you, just let that drive be there. You get. So just keep that energy, keep the drive, and keep doing what you want to do. So I think that's basically it for this. I hope you get started from here, and then if you have any questions for me, you can feel free to ask after this session. So thank you, everyone.
Oh, wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much. That was really enlightening. So please, if let's engage the chat section. Thank you so much. Thank you so. Please, if you gain something, I want you to drop whatever you gain. Please, I want you to drop it on the chat section. Please, drop it on the chat section. Whatsoever you have gained, please just drop it on the chat section. Like, it was really nice. You know, the thing about this particular speaker is that even like beyond even what he was informed about to speak about, he told us about that, and I really appreciate that about you. Thank you so much. That was really enlightening. So please, Mr. Olumide, can you drop your social media and like ways people can connect with you on social media? Can you just drop it on the chat section so that people can see it? Your Twitter, your face, no, Twitter.
No,
I don't
don't
know if you
worry.
can still have Twitter. You can.
Sure.
You
We'll
still
use
have
VPN.
Twitter.
We'll use VPN. Don't worry. I'll drop my Twitter and link.
They block your Twitter too.
Yeah. I'll drop it. Don't worry.
Okay, you can just drop your LinkedIn, just drop your Twitter too. Drop everything just drop it on the chat section so we can we can follow you up. All right, very quickly, I want to move to the next speaker. I want to introduce the next speaker. You get. So the next speaker is also a senior man, really senior man. All right, so I'll just introduce him briefly. He's also a software engineer. He's also a software engineer. I think he's not. I think he's going to be talking to us about career paths for those of you who don't want to code. So please and please, if you know anybody that you feel should be in this meeting that wants to know about like things they can do, they don't want to code. I think this section is a section you should try to. I think everybody has access to the link invite now. Everybody has access to it. You can invite people. So you can invite people for the next part. For those people who want to go into tech and they don't want to code, this is a section for you. Share we are getting now. So please drop the links to people, let them follow the link and stuff like that. So I think everybody has access to the stuff. John, please can you unmute your mic? All right, so very quickly, I'm introduce the next speaker. Very quickly, I'm going to introduce the next speaker. Mr. Tumishe, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, thank you. Can we see your face?
Okay. Sorry, I have to turn off my camera because you know, network.
Let's just see your face.
Yeah.
No network.
No, like I don't want the network to affect because I'll be doing a lot of
Okay, you
talking.
don't let network to lag. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's his face. Can you all see his face? He's a senior man too. He's a very senior man. Can you see his face? That's the face of a senior developer.
Hello.
All right, so let me just introduce you briefly before you start. He's a software engineer. He's also a project manager. Yeah, and like I said, and I'll keep saying it, he's a senior man. So we want to appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Okay,
for having me.
Olumide Tumishe is a software, Mr. Tumishe. Sorry, Mr. Tumishe, and a formal. Well, he's a software engineer and a project manager. So he's also MLSA, that's Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. He's a beta ambassador. That's like a very senior level of ambassador. It's not like the normal ambassadors. And he also blogs from time to time. So because of our time, I'll just switch to him. I'd like him to talk to us and introduce himself briefly. Can you tell us a few things about yourself and just start because of our time? Thank you so much. The floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Tolu. I don't know why you tech bros love whining so much, but I mean, you said most of it about me. I'm a software developer and I mainly do front end. But over the past few months, I've been trying to transition into product management. And when Tolu gave me the topic, I should I say I was a little overwhelmed because I mean there were so many things to cover. Because I mean, a lot of people don't know that when you talk about tech, there are so many other things to do in tech other than writing code. All these
Yeah.
large tech companies that you're looking at, there are so many other departments that are driving the company aside from their software development or their coding teams. So brief over this short session, like that's what I'll try to talk about. Okay, so let me share my screen.
All right.
All right. So can you see my screen now?
Yeah. No, not yet. Not yet. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We can't now. Can't, no. Okay. I think we're about to see it now. Yeah, we can see it.
I can see it now. All right. Let me put in full screen. So the topic is how to have a great tech career without coding skills. I know the first thing I'll say is coding is not for everybody, and that's fine. Like I have friends who have tried to learn different programming languages due to peer pressure. They jump from JavaScript to PHP to Python. I know at the end of the day, they just figure that, well, look, this thing is not for me. I'm not enjoying it, and that's fine because, like I said earlier, there are so many ways we can contribute to the tech industry aside coding. So, and like I said, there are so many things, but I'll try to cover as many things as possible. And so I broke them down into two things basically: the should I say, tech related no code parts. That is, these are parts that you are not writing code, but then it's tech related in the sense that you'll be working with the coders. you'll be working with software engineers, although even though you won't be writing any code. So I listed some of them: technical writers, your user interface engineers, product managers, program managers, SEO specialists, technical support specialists. So, what's technical writing? I'm sure most of you, like, I don't know if any of you follow popular tech blogs. Can you people still hear me?
You can hear you. You can
Oh,
hear you. You
okay.
can hear you.
Okay. All right. So like I was saying, technical writing. I mean, if you follow some popular, there are so many popular tech blogs, Code Camp, Ecode, and there are people that write these articles that take their time to sit down and explore framework or tools and basically write about it. I know the funny thing about these people is most of them, okay, lots, I won't say most, but a lot of them aren't, like, I know a lot of people who are technical writers, and they are not programmers. And like I said, you don't have to be a programmer to be a technical writer, because there are so many tools and things to write about, and there are blogs that pay people to write articles about their tools. And this is another area, like I said, the matter of skills. Not every programmer is a good technical writer. So I mean, there are people that are good at breaking things down into simple, understandable words. You know, so this is one of those areas when you get to interface with tech, but then you don't need to write any code. And like Olumide said, user experience and user interface designers. Like Olumide said earlier, he's terrible with colors, he's terrible with designs, but he's still able to execute his job as a front-end engineer. Why? Because he's working, or he has support from user experience and user interface and designers. So basically, user interface and user experience designers are people who sit down, conduct user research, and determine the best way to, should I say, present a website or present an application in such a way that, okay, it will give the user the best experience. So their job is, oh, which color works best? Which color is the best color that matches our template or matches the business colors? Where is the best place to place this modal? Best pattern of design that will be easy for the user, and will make the user want to come back and use the website because it was a good experience. So you also have your product managers and program managers. And I mean, this is another big field, because I mean, depending on the company, some companies call their product managers program managers, but it's basically owning a product, working, and product managers work with basically everybody, both the designers, they work with the software developers, because the job of a product manager is to, okay, look at, this is the company goal, this is the business goal. How can I create a product that satisfies my customers while at the same time I'm able to achieve the goals of the company? And it's a very interesting role for people who love to, should I say, who love to solve problems, because in fact you'll be overwhelmed with problems that, in balancing user satisfaction and achieving business goals. You also have your SEO specialists. I mean, I think most of us should know what SEO is, search engine optimization, whose their job is basically, what are the things we can do to ensure that our website has fantastic SEO. So as you notice, when you search for something now, there are some websites that will always come out on top, because I mean, their SEO people are doing their job. That's their job, to ensure that anytime someone searches for something that is related to something we have, we want to come out on top, and put ourselves there, as the first option, which I know most of us is what Google shows us in the first page that most people always click on. So that's why you have the SEO specialists to ensure that their SEO ranking is up there. And also, lastly, you have the tech support specialists, or like you might call them. Should I say, yeah, they're basically tech support, there to support the tech guys. If there are any problems, complaints, and that's basically it. And I'm sure there will be some other no code career paths that might interface with tech that I might not have listed here. But like I said, it's a vast field. So next, I would like to talk about like non-tech related no code parts. So when I say non-tech, it's not like it's not in the tech industry; it's in the tech industry. But most times they don't necessarily work directly in the tech departments. So, like I listed, legal, logistics, marketing, communication. I know this can vary based on the type of company. So, like legal now, I mean, legal is one of like every almost every major tech company has a legal department because as you're expanding and you're doing business, you'll be running into so many legal issues, government issues, and you need, lawyers, mediators, people on board to help resolve all those issues. So, like I said, now they're in the tech industry. You can see someone who says he's in Google's accounting department. I mean, he works for Google, so yes, he works in the tech industry, but he has no business with code, and yet he works in the tech industry. He or she works in the tech industry. So logistics, I put this there. There are so many world like Uber, DoorDash, GoCarda. There are so many world class tech companies that have very very large logistic department because the solution they are providing has to deal with a lot of movement of goods and services from one place to another, or movement of parcels of people. I know that's why they need a logistics department. So also you have marketing and communications. So like I said, building a product is one thing, developing a product is one thing. Marketing it to the world is another, a different ball game entirely. So you need marketing experts, PR experts to handle those things. And like I said, there are many, many more that I now have mentioned, like human resources, etc. So before we move on, I also want to talk about tools. Microsoft family is always increasing and providing us with numerous solutions. And Microsoft, there's something called the Microsoft Power Platform that provides you with a lot of tools that you can do a lot of crazy stuff with, and you don't have to write a single line of code. And I'll be talking about those tools. So there are four major tools. You have the Microsoft Power BI, Microsoft Power Apps, Microsoft Virtual Agent, and Microsoft Power Automate. So Microsoft Power BI, I mean, if you speak to anyone who is into data analysis or data analytics, they know what this tool is. I mean, this is one of the most popular tools that, and data storytellers love it because it gives them the power to take a large set of data and tell different stories with it and break it down and analyze it. I think Microsoft Power BI, it gives you meaningful insights with hundreds of data visualization templates. You know, I know data visualization is very, very important in business because data tells you what to do. Data tells you the next step to take. So if you cannot visualize your data or if you cannot interpret your data, you will run into a lot of errors, or you make a lot of decisions that will turn out to be terrible decisions in the future. So that's why it's very important. And these are areas that you don't need any coding knowledge. So like I was saying, Power BI, it keeps your data secure with industry leading security capabilities, because I mean it's owned by Microsoft. So like Olumide said earlier, your data is 99.9% secure. You also have Power Apps. Okay, sorry, I think my slide is hanging. Anyways, all right. Power Apps. I don't know if anyone here has interfaced with Power Apps, but Power Apps is another fantastic tool. It gives you the power to it basically enables anybody to build an application without any knowledge. You don't need any knowledge. There are thousands of templates on the Power Apps platform, and you can build apps without compromise because it gives that, like I said earlier, thousands of templates and also so much resources on the Microsoft Learn platform to help you learn how to build apps. And even for experienced devs who might say maybe it's too simple, they also have other options to build, like to connect it with whatever on-premise system you have, or whatever Azure functions you have, or custom. You can create custom connectors, so that you can extend the capabilities of Power Apps. And like I said, all these tools are free. That's another amazing part. All these tools are free. And of course, if you want to use it on a larger scale, where you'll be requiring a lot of storage, you have to start paying for storage. But then if you just want to learn how to, if you just want to get yourself acquainted with it, they are free and you can just play around with them. So the next one, Power Virtual Agents. And okay, I just wanted to say something about Power. I don't know how many of you watch Microsoft Build 2020 last year, and they shared a story of one a lady at Sterling Bank who wasn't even a programmer. She wasn't even in the tech department. She was in another department entirely. And she noticed that there was a problem. There was a problem, and she figured out to solve that problem. She needed to build a form of application that would share information between she and her customers in real time. And she just picked up Power Apps, and she was able to build something that solved that problem. So that's a perfect example of you need no coding knowledge to 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 solve problems. You also have Microsoft Virtual Agents. Like I said in the header, it enables you to easily create chatbots without a single line of code. And I mean, everyone can agree with me now that this is something that is so popular. Like almost every website you go to right now has chatbots. And I mean, why not? Because it's important. I mean, it helps you get that to get closer with your customer, because when people want problems, they want answers now. Putting someone on a phone line, telling them you wait for your turn or something, like people want answers now. That's why chatbot is being adapted at a very fast rate all over the world. Why everybody's incorporating chatbots into their site, because it gives you the opportunity to answer your customers' needs immediately. And Microsoft Virtual Agents gives you the opportunity to create chatbots without any line of code. As you can see in the diagram, you can create your question and structure tree, and depending on the answer the person has, you can give a response. And the good thing about virtual agents is you can easily integrate it with other things. So if I build a website now, I don't have to build a chatbot. I can just create a chatbot with Microsoft Virtual Agent and just integrate it with the site. And I mean, this in 2020, when COVID-19 broke out, some Unilag students created a chatbot in just a couple of days. A chatbot that answers people's questions as regards COVID-19. And they had thousands of hits, thousands of people used it. And they also got featured at Microsoft Build 2020 last year. So like I said, these things are powerful tools that give you the ability to solve problems, bridge gaps, create solutions, without any knowledge of programming. Let me quickly move on to the last one called Microsoft Power Automate. And this is another tool I also like in the sense that who doesn't love automation? I mean, automation makes your life easy. So with Microsoft Power Automate, you can automate so many processes. I mean, if you look on the diagram, you can see a sample. With Power Automate, you can do so many should I say low code processes, drag and drop, and there are hundreds of pre-built connectors that can help you automate tasks faster. So, for example, I want something to happen. Maybe when the user fills a form, I want something to happen. I want to go through the form, pick the images, move them to a certain folder, send a response. And you can do all these things with Power Automate quickly and securely. And another fantastic thing about Power Automate is you can also run complex automations by using it with Microsoft the AI Builder. So, like I said, no code, more power. And yeah, some of the links to some of these websites, and you can easily just go ahead and get started and like start practicing and on using them. And like I said earlier, the fantastic thing about all this is you don't need to pay any fee or anything. All you just need is your email. Yeah. So thank you.
Wow. Please, Mr. Atumishe, senior man, please don't go yet. Do you have any other thing you want to say? Just in 1 second.
Yeah. So like I also forgot to mention, there's a
Okay.
Power Platform user group on Telegram where you meet, I mean, tons of people, hundreds of people who are using all these Power apps, Power Platform tools that I just shared with you. So if you have any questions, any problems, you can always reach out to them.
All right. Thank you so much. Um, uh, Mr. Olumide, Mr. Tumishe, time is not really on our side again. Please, can you unmute yourself, two of you? Please, if you have any
Okay.
question, you can drop it on the chat section. Let me just quickly ask. I won't be taking too many questions because of our time.
Okay.
So please drop your questions in the comment section. I think the first two questions I will see. I will ask those questions. Or I guess both of you have access to the chat sections now.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so please drop your questions there. Yes, and also please thank you. It's already dropping. It's your LinkedIn, your Twitter. Yes, Twitter for VPN. Most of us has.
I'm not that active on Twitter, but you can always reach
Okay.
out to me on LinkedIn.
Okay, no problem. You can drop your LinkedIn, you can drop everything that everyone needs to have. So any question, please let's ask our questions. Mr. Olumide, are you still here with us? I don't think he's here.
I'm not sure he's on the call.
Okay, that's interesting. Please drop your questions. Okay, someone is raising up his hand. Okay, can we do this now because of time? If you have a question, just unmute yourself and talk. If you have a question, just quickly unmute yourself and talk. Okay. If you have a question, unmute yourself, off your camera, and just talk. Please, if you have a question, unmute yourself, off your camera, and talk quickly.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Man,
You can go
Yeah, good
ahead.
morning, everyone. Yeah, thank you for the nice presentation. We really appreciate both the first and the second speaker. We appreciate your contribution. Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot. So my question is this: for the first programmer, for the first speaker, I would like to. Though I'm a graduate of Ladoke Counter University of Technology, Lautech. So I graduated in 2015. So I'm a computer engineering graduate. So though I really have
Okay,
passion
okay.
for software engineering. However, currently my job role is IT risk, like information technology risk analyst. But I really have passion for software engineering, like software development in general.
Okay.
So, but I'm always confused regarding
All right.
software like programming because there are a lot of software. You're hearing different kinds of softwares like C Sharps, Java, like new programs that they're just like coming on board. Do you get? And the most, should I say, the recent one that I say that is common is Python programming, which I think is applicable to almost all, should I say, all platforms. Do you get? So my question is this: I don't know
All right.
how to how to start or where to start from. Do you get? I don't know whether to start from front end or back end engineering or software development. I'm just totally
Okay,
confused.
okay.
Seriously. Sometimes if I'm learning a particular programming language now, within few days I'll be interested in another one. Do you get? Like I'm just lost and confused. So I really have passion for software engineering. Thank you.
All right. All right. Can you go ahead? Do you get the question? Did you get the question? Yeah, we can hear you. Can hear you. I just want to know if you
I
got the
think I
question.
missed a good number of it. So
Okay,
I
you missed.
think I got the part from you talking about software engineering, about there being a lot of parts in software engineering and which one you want to focus on. But I think I didn't get the part of you saying you do information technology. So can I take that again?
Okay, so sorry, can I come again? So what I'm saying is,
Yes.
presently
Quickly. Can you just quickly go straight to the point?
yeah,
The
my job
question.
function, yeah, my job function is IT risk, information technology risk analyst. So it's not really related to programming. Do you get? So,
Yeah, I
but
know.
I love programming. To be candid, I love programming. So, but I
Okay.
don't know where to start from. That's just my question. I don't know where to start from. How to begin?
Yeah. So quick one. Like, what fascinates you? Do you like to like when you go to websites, those things you see around? Do you like user interfaces, or do you prefer do having to like code logic? Do you get logic of applications? Do you prefer that, or you just want to be building stuff and saying this thing should be here, that one should be there? You get basic front end stuffs. Because really, I mean, the whole thing is wide, and you can't learn everything, but you should learn what interests you. You get it? So since you said you have interest in programming, you need to know what part of programming you are interested in. So are you fascinated about websites? Are you fascinated about Android apps? Do you get? Or are you fascinated about machine learning and stuff? You get? So it's what you are interested in that will now decide which one you should learn. So if, for example, you are interested in machine learning, you have to learn Python. If you're interested in web, you have to learn JavaScript. Do you get? If you're interested in Android, you probably have to learn Java or Kotlin. Yeah, so it's what you're interested in that really determines what you should learn. Because as you've said, there are lots of technologies and programming languages out there, right? And you have to
Very true.
streamline what you want to do. You get? So my question would be, which one really fascinates you? Is it websites, and is it like the user interface you see, or how they store those data and expose it to the front end?
All right. All right. I guess he has answered the question.
Okay, thank
I
you very
guess he has
much.
answered.
So, yeah,
All right. So
But again, I mean, I'm open to discussions, because right now I'm also into like information security, more majorly like cyber security stuff. And I came from a software engineering background, so if there's any issues you're having switching or learning programming or coding stuff, so you can always reach out to me.
all right. So you can reach out to him. If you check the chat section, he dropped all his information, so you can link up with him on LinkedIn. If you want to link up with him on Twitter, have your VPN. So I think someone dropped a question in the chat section. That should be for Mr. Tumishe. Like the link to the Telegram group we talked about. Someone is asking for the link to that Telegram group. So I guess that's all the questions we have. I don't think there's any other question. I don't think we have any other question.
All
That's
right.
all.
As regards the link to the Telegram group, I'll try and get it across to Lou.
All right. All right. All right. There's no problem there. I believe we don't have any other question.
Yeah, sorry. What about, okay, sorry, can I still ask more questions if others are not asking?
Because of our time, it's
Okay,
a virtual program. Will it be
okay,
short?
okay.
Your question, will it be very, very short?
Okay,
I think we
though,
should.
is okay, it's just to respond to the question you like. You said I'm not interested in web development, mobile development, or AI or machine learning.
Yeah.
Okay, though I'll prefer either machine learning or web development. Do
I
you
mean, you
get?
are still saying either.
Okay, okay. Though, I the reason I'm not
Yeah.
going for mobile and development is because I've not been doing. Should I say I don't have foundational knowledge regarding mobile development. It's not something I've been doing. Do you get? I've not made any attempt on like writing applications for mobile phones or something like that. Do you get? But
Yeah.
regarding HTML, like all these fonts and technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, I have little ideas about them. Do you get? Thank you.
So, I would just say you should. I mean, just start with the front end stuff. Play around HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? I mean, you will know if it interests you when you start building stuff. So if you don't really find much interest, then you cannot try machine learning. But I think front end is more beginner friendly, right? Coming from someone with no coding background, yeah, so start with that.
I believe your question has been answered.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
All
Yes,
right.
thanks.
Okay. So, we are going to round up very, 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 very soon. Let me unmute myself. Let me on my camera. I don't think any of the speakers has. Okay, I've seen their face. Let me see. This should work. My face. You should see my face. Okay, that's me. That's me, and you can see me now. I guess we can all see me. I guess we can all see me. Yeah. Please let's unmute.
Yeah,
Those of you whose
yes,
mics are
yes,
on,
yes, you
please
can.
unmute yourself. Someone in the chat section is saying Starboy. All right, so Starboy again. That's just so very quickly. I'm not the only MLSC for LAUTECH, so I just have a very very short talk. I'm just going to be talking about some popular tools that. Please, can you off your camera? The person's camera that's on. Please let's turn off our cameras and let's mute our speakers, please. All right, so very quickly, I'm going to share my screen now. Yes, you should be able to get access to the recording. I'll work on that. I'll work on that. I'll work on that. So I want to share my screen now so that we get access. So I'm going to be briefly talking about some tools that uh, popular tools that developers use. Popular tools that developers use. Obviously, those tools are powered by Microsoft. Obviously, so because it's a Microsoft event, we have to talk about that. How do I share my screen now? John, can you help me? How will I share my screen? Like, I had it. I don't know. Is it here? Okay, yeah, I gotten it. I want to have a slide, so I want to. So I'm going to be talking about popular tools used by developers. Popular tools used by developers. In less than 2 to 5 minutes, I'm going to be done. I'm just going to have a run through of those tools and how we can have access to them. All right. So I believe you can all see my screen now. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, coming up, coming up.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to be talking about some tools that popular tools that developers use. Popular tools that developers use. Popular tools that developers use. All right. So how long is my slide? All right, so my slide is not cooperating with me. I guess I'll just have to talk about them without the slide for now. I'll just have to talk about the slides for now. All right, so the first tool I'm going to be talking about is Microsoft VS Code. VS Code. Okay, it's moving now. Okay, the first one I'm going to talk about is Microsoft VS Code. I'm going to be talking about GitHub. I'm going to be talking about Azure, and I'm going to be talking about Power BI. So I'm just going to tell you about it, how you have access to it, and what you can use it for. These tools are powered by Microsoft. So VS Code, Visual Studio Code, as you can see, is a free open source text editor for Microsoft. VS Code is available for Windows, Linux, and macOS. That means irrespective of your device, you might be using Windows, you might be using Linux, you might be using macOS, you can have access to it. So it's lightweight, and one of the beautiful things about VS Code is that it provides you access to write a variety of languages. So you can write Python, you can write your Java, you can write your C++, many languages you can write in that environment. It's not just for one language. That's just it. So to access this tool, it's just something you go online, you search about it, Visual Studio Code, and you get access. You will be provided with a link on how you can get it, how you can download it, and how you can get it to work on your device. So try Visual Studio Code. It's very powerful. And for those people that get to do stuff like React, other stuff like you can add extensions. Extensions are just plugins that makes your programming process easy. So Visual Studio allows you to be able to do that. So I think the next one, that's GitHub. GitHub. So GitHub is just like an online repository. It's just like a library where developers store their code. So you can keep your code there, and from time to time you check it out, you safeguard it, and it allows also for collaboration. You get what I'm trying to say? It allows for collaboration. That means you can work with other people on a particular project. So you can, if as developers now, one good thing is that at least if you say you're a developer, there are things you should have. If I ask you, are you a developer? You should show me something you've worked on before. So GitHub, you can store all your code, and you can just send the link to people. Yeah, I worked on so and so before. This is the code, and you can collaborate with people too as well. So it's allows you to store, manage, and control your code. So you can work with a team. When you are working with a team on a single code base, GitHub will really, really help you. Microsoft Azure. I think Azure. Some people say Azure. Let's just say it's Azure. I think it's Azure. John, it's Azure now. So John is my fellow MLSA. In case you keep hearing me saying John. Microsoft Azure, commonly referred to as Azure, is like a cloud computing service. But you can use it to test, you can use it for deployment, and manage your applications, services through Microsoft. You can just it's just a cloud service. Many things you guys, anything like you can use cloud services for, you should be able to do it on Microsoft Azure. So it supports many different programming languages, tools, framework, including Microsoft specifics and third-party software and systems. It's really wide. You can use it for AI, just cloud. You get. So to have access to this, simple. You can just go online. You search for Microsoft Azure. I think signing up is free, and you have access to it. So the last thing is the Power BI, because based on the responses from those that registered, they ask what are your interests. So we try to streamline this section to interest of people. So Power BI is a business analytics service by Microsoft. It provides interactive visualization and data intelligence capabilities with an interface simple enough for users to. Like, what that means is that it helps simplify your analytics. For those that are into data analytics, for those that are into visualization. So Power BI will just help you streamline it and make it nice and better. So those are the 4 things I'll be talking about. There are still more. But these are popular tools that are among developers that they use. So I think that's that about that. So if you want to know more about it, just a simple search. Just a simple search. You should be able to access all these things. Just search online and you'll have access to it. So that's that about that. Popular Microsoft tools used by developers. Oh, okay. Wow, that's interesting. Please pardon me and my device. All right, so finally for the last section, we are going to be having another person that's going to talk to us about tools that are used by non-developers. Tools that are used by non-developers. Tools used by non-developers. Okay. Wow. Please, my screen is misbehaving now. All right. Wow. What's going on? Hmm. I think I'm back now. I want to stop. Please pardon me. Apologies. I'm going to get my screen open. Wow. My system is misbehaving. All right. I think I'm back now. All right. So in the next few seconds, John is going to be talking to us about tools that are used by non-developers. Sorry about the mix-up. My laptop having the little issues. So quickly, John, so that we can round up. No, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me perfectly, right?
No, no, no. We can't hear you at all. Unmute yourself.
Okay. Now, can you hear me?
No. Quickly, please, because of our
Can you
time.
hear me now?
No, no, we cannot still hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, good afternoon, good morning. Yeah, good afternoon, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Nice. Yeah. So, in 2 minutes now, we'll be talking on, so far we've learned so many tools that we can use, for developers, starting a career as a developer and as a non-developer. I'm very sure by now we'll have get some insight of what we do want about it in the tech space. Yeah. So, I'll be talking on Microsoft tools available for non-developers. Well, basically, I'll be talking from as a student now. Yeah, as a student, as a non-developer, so Microsoft. Sorry, can you hear me? So, my video is good. So, we'll be talking about some of the Microsoft tools that we can access as the non-developers. As Mr. Tola has already introduced us to the Microsoft tools available for developers and things like that. Well, basically, I'll be talking on Office 365 as a whole. Office 365. And well, Office 365 basically is it's just like a package that is, for students. Yeah, let me use that. obviously this is like for students. There are tools that are available for students, for the use of students to make their work easier as a student. Some of the things that they do in the institution make it much easier. And, apart from that, even for non-students, okay, sorry, I'm rushing. Okay, even for non-students, they can still be accessible for non-students too. And most of them are just the Word, the PowerPoint, the Excel, the um, what's it called? Excel assets. We have the Power Apps. Yeah, it's part of it. We have the Power BI. We have the Sky, which includes the quiz. I'll be starting from what for Excel and Power. Basically, I'll be talking more on Excel. We were talking about Power BI the other time. The knowledge of Excel analysis will take you to Power BI when you have your reporting and other things.
Okay.
Most companies later and they want in the summary what really the data that they okay, so also we have the word related Excel. You can from there, from Excel, you can put your Power BI. Then also the board where you can design, this business application design. Without you getting to write code, that means if you are not a programmer, if you are not into programming, if you are not interested in programming, you need to do things. I can build amazing apps, web apps, both mobile and web apps, without even writing code. Yes. And also we have the OneDrive, whereby you can the file storage whereby you can save your most of your files. Basically last week I think I have a problem with that last week, whereby I've been working on something like now and okay, whereby I'm working on something like everything just like it is to go, everything just back because I'm going back up we have a file storage. We have a file storage, very important, and those of us that are doing it, we have a project, not just we have a project, not we have to have a backup plan whereby in case anything happens to the system, or maybe you are using a flash drive and you just try and cover within a snap. Also we have project management, to get your some of your analysis. I think that's all for now.
All right. Thank you so much. I think we are about to bring the program to an end. So for those of us that participated, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. We would have loved for the program to be longer than this, but because it's a virtual event, you can't keep people so long. Just have to bring the program to an end. I'd like to appreciate our speakers, Alumide, Mr. Timishi, for coming around. I appreciate so. This is just to let you know that we have a Microsoft community on campus and that we are interested in all of us. So I would like us to do something for those of us that have access to our Twitter. Please, I would like us to tweet about this event. So tweet about this event and tell us what you gain. About this event and tell us what you gain. So tweet with MLSA hashtag. I'll post the hashtag MLSA MLSA out there. I want to tweet that event. I want you to tweet that hashtag MLSA LAVTech. I want you to tweet that hashtag MLSA LAVTech. For those of us who have access to Twitter, please let us tweet with that. So that's that about that. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Is there any